The views and opinions expressed on this program do not reflect the company, owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
It's Tuesday, the 23rd day of November, 2021. Welcome to the Daily Hour, brought to you by Medical House, One Communications, and Linda's. I'm Jamel Hartman. She's Sherry Vanderpool, and Leanna Lambert will be with us in a bit to bring you the latest in her news break, brought to you by People's Pharmacy. It is Tuesday, one day closer to this week, Friday. How you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. We're approaching our, 2-day time off, and I'm just very excited. Just for the sleep, Jamal, not anything else.
You know where I was going. You know where I was going. Like, folks, she just always seems too excited to get away from us, doesn't she?
On these short weekends. And then I was up a little bit late. I was watching Dancing with the Stars, and I was all excited for Iman Shumpert. Did I say his name right?
Oh, Shumpert.
Basketball.
Whatchamacallit's husband used to play basketball for the Cavs and Knicks. Yeah.
He won Dancing with the Stars.
Really?
Yes.
See, his wife's a dancer, so his wife must have been like, "You best not get out there and make me look crazy," because she seems crazy from the role she plays in movies. Yeah, she probably threatened him like, "Boy, don't get out there and woo." So he had to take it home. He had to take it home.
Yeah, first time I voted. I've never voted on this stuff, but I was like, you know what?
You vote?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I mean, I used to vote in American Idol back in the day too, so I can't change.
It's the only thing I can do as far as voting.
You feel me? Actually, you make a point. I can't vote in Bermuda or the U.S., so I voted American Idol. Back in the day, it was Fantasia and Ruben Studdard. But anyway,
oh my gosh.
Good morning. That's right. They better credit me with their career. Good morning, everyone, and thanks for making us part of your daily routine. Another good one today as we welcome Rajai Denbrook to discuss the Bermuda Festival. The daily play is a remember when, so it's a history question, and no pressure, no pressure, no pressure. But I'm pretty sure it's an easy one that the audience are going to make difficult. Notice I didn't say Sherry.
This is interesting. Even I'm interested in what this is interesting, Jamal. Okay.
Yeah, she's interested in getting it wrong, folks. So look, hey,
so shady.
Let's get to today's question.
Wait till Thursday.
Yeah, I knew it was about us. But look, let's get straight to the question. Lot to discuss, but we're in a time, folks. We're in a time, and there's a lot that has been said in the U.S. regarding a labor shortage, and then there's challenges throughout the world as to careers and what jobs people should be looking to do. And I think this morning's question is very easy. If you follow us on Instagram, you pretty much have a heads up as to what the question of the morning is going to be for the daily discussion. We got many responses on Instagram, and we'll go through those. But the question is very easy. What careers do you believe we should be preparing younger Bermudians for? What careers do you believe we should be preparing younger Bermudians for? Why this question? Because at the end of the day, I think that's part of our collective issue. We're still preparing my former boss, Scott Pierman, bought his friend who he went to college with, Steve Perry, Dr. Steve Perry.
Mm-hmm.
For those who don't know, Dr. Steve Perry is an educator in the U.S. up in Connecticut. He was a consultant, not sure if he still is, on CNN. But he came to Bermuda back in probably around 2009, right? And he he literally spoke and he said one thing that really has stuck with me since then. And that thing was, we need to be preparing our children and students for things that don't yet exist. Right?
Mm,
That's 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 a powerful statement. So it's always interesting when asking these questions and then you get normal like answers, right?
right.
And normal like answers aren't wrong if you feel like this is a space where people can succeed. But I do wonder, I saw what someone explaining innovation the other day. Innovation is not just creating new ideas, it's about shifting industries. It's about
Right.
creating something that changes the way an industry works. That's innovation. We need to be preparing children, young people, the next generation, and I agree with Dr. Steve Perry, for what yet doesn't exist. And some may say, well, how do you teach that? You don't. You don't.
Mm. Okay. Steve is probably hanging out with Oprah somewhere because that's where, the level he's going to.
Yeah, yeah, he's on those levels.
Yes, he is. No, you're absolutely right, Jamal. I can only go back to my school education days.
Mhm,
Bermudians, you prepare for an insurance position, or you prepare
mhm,
for a job in government.
mhm,
And those are your options. Anything outside of that is kind of just like, you sure you want to do that?
mhm,
Many people don't know, probably my first major was fashion merchandising. And
mhm.
what that is purchasing for stores and stuff. What I was told was, watch, you're going to come back and work at Trimminghams? Like, serious?
Wow.
And I was like, wow, okay, then that's not what I'm supposed to do.
Mm.
You want to go in radio? How you get? There's no money in radio,
Yep.
which is probably true. But,
Depending on who you
so
work for.
yes. So it's for me, it's like preparing things for what you don't see, but honing in on people's passions. Because look where I am now. You know what I mean? So it's honing in on what your passion is, whether people can see it or not. You can always carve out a lane. If the pandemic didn't show anybody, it showed how you can carve out your own lane and be able to create and be innovative in certain situations that you never even thought possible.
Mhm,
We need to prepare kids for what they are passionate for, and 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 help them to go through the process, because we only see the end goal on Instagram. Oh, look
mhm,
how I did this, but nobody talks about the 10 years of preparation to get
mhm.
to this point. We always seem to miss the process. We
I
always
think,
want the end goal.
yeah, it's funny you say that your first major was fashion merchandising. We have Rajai Denbrook coming on today, and I remember conversations with Raj many years ago. And he can clarify when he comes on, theater. And I remember a time when, you're right, Sherry, younger Bermudians were like basically scared away from doing things like theater, doing things
Hmm.
like communications, doing things like radio. We were basically pushed towards international business or government like jobs. I rejected that. I rejected that
Hmm.
because I have no interest in international business. It was never about money. It's about passion. Like, what drives you? Where are you going to be happy? My former
Hmm.
colleague, Teo, one of the most brilliant minds of his generation. Oh, why you're not a lawyer or a doctor? Da, 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 da. That's not what he wanted to do.
Right.
That's not where he felt, happy. That's not, when it comes to pushing young people, find out what they love to do and then let them explore in those spaces. Give them the tools. What does that mean? Give them the books. Put them in the
Hmm.
spaces where they can succeed in that. But the question of the morning again, folks, what careers do you believe we should be preparing young Bermudians for? Go ahead, Sherry, before we go to the audience.
I was like, and don't waste money on school if that's not where they want to go. Why are we spending all of this money on education for what we think that the children should be prepared for? If
Mhm,
that's not where, spend it on the education that helps them be in the lane that they want to do. And
mhm,
and it's just unfortunate because at this point, what do people ask about all the time? My clothing.
mhm,
Where you got to wear that? This, that, and the other.
mhm.
Do you want to do Instagram?
Well, let's go to the audience. James Birch is saying the question again, folks, is what careers do you believe we should be preparing younger Bermudians for? James Birch says babysitting AI systems. That's artificial intelligence. And Nikki Hartman says fashion merchandising was my college major too. It took me all around the world. Never limit yourself and always follow your passion. Michelle White and Sean
Oh,
Smith for you, Sherry.
technology, finance, science, medicine, entrepreneurship, social science, space, and any blend of these. Creatively blending there is where new career opportunities rise. I like that. Sci-fi movies is a great place to get ideas of what is to come to pick a career. Space travel, for example.
Space travel. Nichika Trot says students should have the tools and skills to empower them. For example, team building, critical thinking, entrepreneurial skills, coding. Much of this can be developed through project-based learning. Shika Reyna says AI, alternative energy sources, agriculture sciences. Again, what careers do you believe we should be preparing younger Bermudians for? What were they saying on Instagram, Sherry? Because we did get quite a few
A good one.
responses on Instagram, and I think that I don't think there's a wrong answer to this. I honestly don't. I don't think there's a wrong answer. It's just about what's the strategy that's going to help us achieve the long-term strategy where someone's going to be able to make a living and they're going to be happy doing masonry or carpentry, if that's what you suggest, doing coding.
Right.
Go ahead, Sherry.
Yeah. So we got coding. That was
Mhm,
one of them. Tech jobs that can be done from anywhere in the world,
mhm,
which is, yeah. App development,
mhm. Yep.
longshoreman. What was longshoreman? Did you find out what
I
that
don't
meant?
know what longshoreman is, but something tells me it has something to do with shipping. I don't know.
Oh,
Maybe the
okay.
guy that goes
Okay.
out to bring the boats in. I'm not sure, but if anyone can explain what a longshoreman is, that would be helpful. Go ahead.
Crypto, NFTs, and the metaverse. I
Hmm.
don't understand NFTs. I've seen them, but I don't understand it. Tech, finance, trades, entrepreneurship,
Hmm.
technology, AI, masonry, carpentry, electrician, plumbing, general contractor, and maintenance, landscaping.
Hmm.
Um, Men need to get back into trade jobs if it applies. Yes, plumbing, masonry, electrical engineering, car body work. We have
Hmm.
lost sight. Fintech, and that was it.
All right. And like I said, folks, if you follow us on Instagram, you would be a part of that as well. But we did get quite a few responses on Instagram. Bobby Singh says trades, construction, plumbing, electrical, mason, tiling, drywall. These trades are dying, but much needed here and globally. Why there is no trade school in Bermuda is beyond me. We have Nachika Trot. She says a longshoreman is a person who loads and unloads cargo on ships at a dock or port. So we were on the right
Oh,
track. Sam Cat Play says it's shipping long haul trips. Thank you for the
thanks.
explanation. Uh, Look, at the end of the day, I think there's no wrong answer. But I guess the question is, are we preparing our younger people for these careers? Are we preparing them for to absolutely be able to walk into these spaces with an idea of how they should do it, how they can do it, and so on?
I, I think I think we're more accepting of it now.
Mhm,
We're more inclined to, okay, you on video games all day. Okay, children make and people make a whole lot of money playing video games. It's a lot more accepted than it was back in the day.
mhm,
As far as when you're talking about the technical things, coding, there's classes for that.
mhm,
There are things out there for these passions and different areas for the, kids to get involved in, as well as um, I don't want people to think that just trade is good, right? To have a trade.
mhm,
But do we also just say, okay, men, that's what they should be doing? Or
mhm,
we have a place where they can find out if that's what they're interested in. Am I making
mhm.
sense when I say
No,
that?
I understand perfectly what you're saying. It's not about creating opportunities that you believe we need. It's about creating opportunities that mesh with the interest of the
Yes.
children as well. Let's go to the comments. Okina and Philip Truck.
Expose them to things early. Let them do something for nothing first so they know that passion is not always about money. Totally agree.
Mhm.
We are 10 years too late to be teaching coding. Babysitting AI systems was good. Cybersecurity, sales, and business operations.
It's interesting, Phil, and it's one of those things where I think a lot of people would agree. When I was working in tourism for Bermuda, I'm still working in tourism. When I was in Bermuda tourism, one of the things that
Mm-hmm.
kept coming up was the fact that Bermuda's no one's going to come because you legalize weed or have gaming at this point. Those ships have sailed, right?
Right.
And so I think that's kind of what Phil's saying in reference to coding. It's like that ship has sailed. Even if we
Mm.
get into it, it's like we're still way behind the 8 ball. And I guess the question of the morning: what careers do you believe we should be preparing younger Bermudians for? We need to start figuring out, like I said, what Dr. Steve Perry said. We need to start preparing young Bermudians for what doesn't yet exist. That
This.
means, and I'm honestly, I don't know what that is. I'll give you an example. My thesis, when I finished my master's, is pretty much what we're doing right now, believe it or not. I didn't know this, but it was literally, I took it, my thesis or my master's, if I can find it. I'm blaming my wife if I can't find it. But anyway, that's another story. You move and stuff and whatever. But that thesis was based on traditional radio versus the threat of satellite radio back then. And what the threat
Mm-hmm.
was to satellite radio was streaming like this. So we're literally, that wasn't a plan of mine, because again, I just was thinking way beyond what the possibilities can be.
Right.
But that's what I mean by preparing young people for what yet don't exist. I'm not a techie. You don't have to be a techie to have thoughts and ideas and be a creative. What you
Mm-hmm.
need to know is, once the tech's created, how to navigate that space. Nachika Trott and Okina McGowan for you, Sherry.
We have a trade school in Bermuda. Bermuda College offers a variety of trade programs.
And that they do. I will
Mm-hmm.
second that. That they do.
Your money comes with developing the passion. No, I agree. I've said this before. You have to do it for free.
Carla John says, I am biased, but we need more people to study the trades from a green/climate friendly perspective. I love that. Carla. Yeah, I agree. Like, it's a different way of doing the trades. Like, for instance, I think what she's
Yes.
saying, and correct me if I'm wrong, is the electrician from 20 years ago is different from today, because you're looking at energy efficient ways
Solar
to
panels.
do things, and solar panels and climate friendly ways. So thank you for that, Carla. Michelle White says, the status quo careers will still be filled as these are already known. I believe that most young people, many not know exactly what they want to do, but let's guide them toward being successful. What are you good at? Show them what career options can arise from those areas. Well, I was always told not to do radio and stuff. The opportunities were in Bermuda, honestly. So I get everything. Thank you for saying this, because when Sherry read the comment, I think she was even taken aback. One of the comments we got on Instagram about getting men back in trades. Women can do trades too. This is not about men versus women. This is not, at the end of the day, trades are for everyone. Careers are for everyone, unless there's a specific role where only a man or only a woman can do it. No, we're talking about younger people, period. Not gender specific. Carla John says, looking for a career that aligns with your passion is fantastic, but it's a privilege that not everyone can afford. Sometimes you need to work to pay for your passions. Oh, Sister Carla. Now, there you go. That's the sad reality. That's the sad reality.
Yeah.
And I say sad because at the end of the day, you may want to do something in art, but at the end of the day, if you're not paying for your own formal education and someone else is, and they don't see the opportunity you see, I'm going to tell you what I did. My mother allowed me to do major. Yeah, it was a lot of schoolwork, right? But I do major doing business and radio. So my suggestion to anyone, if they have the opportunity, right, and if they can get accepted to do a major, do art and then do business. That's what I did.
Yeah.
It honestly, and again, that may be privilege as well, because My mother made a lot of financial sacrifices to make that happen, and then I had to get additional scholarships to actually be able to afford that. But I was fortunate enough to be able to dual major and do what I love to do, but also do those boring business classes. Well, they were. I'm not. Let me take that back. I just was not. I'm not into finance accounting, so that was not for me. Philip Trott and Sam Cat plays for you, Sherry.
Maybe that's what we need to be teaching children, how to think way beyond what we have now. I think definitely, Phil.
That's
Definitely.
that's, and I think that's the purpose of the question, Phil. Thank you. That's the purpose of the question.
Workforce development is shy of having program like this. Unfortunately, it revolves around those who are mature adults or college graduates per se. We need a collaborative entity to gauge better guidance and interest to what is out there. Yeah, we need to. And I hear what you're saying, Jamal, in regards to doing a double major and all of those kind of things. We just have to find people that are willing to support all of that.
Indeed. Let's wrap it up with these comments. Aster K. Harvey says, taking a business course so that whatever you decide is your passion, you'll be able to hopefully make a living at, and not someone else making major money off your skills, and you are not. I think what she's saying is, honestly, having done a business degree and owning a business, I don't think you need to take a business course, but it is helpful to have a bit of understanding beyond what you know if you're not kind of business savvy. So thanks for that, Aster K. Harvey. Bobby Singh says, the problem with today's society is some feel they should wake up millionaires instead of working hard for it. What's that called? Instant gratification? Sometimes, no matter what opportunities are presented, they will refuse as it involves years of dedication and commitment. Again, I say some, not all. I don't think many would disagree with you, Bobby. Mark Arthur,
Bobby.
Philip Trott, I don't think it's too late for coding because stats show that thousands of jobs will not be filled. Well, that's interesting. And James Burt says social media managers are in a way AI babysitters. Interesting. And we'll end it with Nachika Trott saying, at the end of the day, the bottom line is that there's no way to prepare students for specific careers when we can't even fathom what those might be. We might have to give them skills and tools that transfer to a variety of jobs. And what did I say earlier, Nachika? What did I say? I said, at the end of the day, to answer this question, what careers do you believe we should be preparing younger Bermudians for? I honestly don't know. How do we prepare them for it? How do we educate them? We probably don't. We just give them the tools and space to express themselves in a way.
Encourage, motivate, and inspire.
I'm gonna tell you, it works. I would say I'm a result of that. Sam Cat Play says the Instagram virus has people thinking they do not need to work hard. I mean, it does take a lot of work, Sam Cat Plays, to post every day, right? I mean, some people have strategy behind that. I don't know. I personally, I'm not a big fan of Instagram, but I understand it. I understand its purpose. If you ask me to throw away one social media platform, it would probably be Instagram. Let's bring Leanna into the conversation. Whatever.
Really? And see, I'm trying to get into Twitter, but Twitter's so instant for me to try to keep up with it. It's just, I don't know about that.
I think Twitter for me, how I got involved in Twitter is to keep up with football and like news and stuff like that. Mind you, when your team's losing, it's probably not good for your mental space. But that's how I got into it. But it's very instant. But honestly, LinkedIn, I just got approval from LinkedIn yesterday to go live. LinkedIn is my space. Like LinkedIn, I said last week on Twitter, what was it? I said, we need a site for creatives in Bermuda who I can recommend overseas. And Charles H. Jeffers II, the CEO of the Bermuda Tourism Authority, responded. He said, we do have that. We have LinkedIn. And I'm just not sure many Bermudians understand LinkedIn. Like in the US, LinkedIn is taken so seriously. Like you legit, if you're not on LinkedIn, and LinkedIn's not about sharing posts. It's simply about engaging on posts. It's about liking posts. It's about reading posts. It's about engaging people in your industry, right? It's not about how many people like your post or respond to your post. And it's a different space. It's what it's there for. And so If you ask me what social media platform I want for my business, and again, Instagram's helpful for stuff like for destinations, it's the best, right? For photography, for weddings and events, it's top notch. But from a personal perspective, personal, not business, I think
Right.
LinkedIn, everyone needs to be focused on really, really honing in on their LinkedIn skills. And guess what? The best thing about LinkedIn, you can do courses on there and make yourself better. Let's bring Leanna into the conversation. Good morning, Lisa.
Good morning. So we're getting rid of Instagram and we're keeping LinkedIn.
Well, see, Lee, you see how you doing. I see how you doing. No.
I like LinkedIn, but when I got my job and it just went viral, I was like, why is all of these people saying
Yeah.
stuff to me?
LinkedIn, I feel it's like an online resume.
Yeah,
It,
it is.
I literally, you could go in there and just see someone's, job history
Mhm.
just by,
Mhm.
looking at the platform. And I do like the fact that it's engaging with your industry, the
Yeah.
posts and everything. I see why you would get rid of Instagram. I could
I
see
just, from a
that.
personal standpoint, like I used to love Instagram. You guys know, like when I was traveling, I used to post all the time. But I'm just like, I think reading the reports of how it's impacted children really
Yeah.
changed my mind about it.
Oh.
It's not just children though. So, quick story, 2017, I decided to get off Instagram. I didn't delete my account. I
Mhm,
just had to take a hiatus and I did it I think for about 2 years. I
mhm,
maybe posted once, but I found that I was dependent
mhm.
on what likes I
Mm.
was getting
Yeah,
and who was commenting. And honestly, it made me have to take a look within to say I cannot be, my whole existence and my value can't
yeah,
be, hinged off of I got 100 and something likes. Like that
mhm,
was crazy. And
Yeah.
unless you have a strong mental,
yeah,
that could affect you. So I took a hiatus and then I came back and I was like, all right, I know how to use this platform now.
yeah. Carla
Mm.
said earlier this year, she said that. She said, you know, she learned from her daughter, younger people would go on Instagram, and if they didn't get a certain amount of likes, they would delete it.
Delete the picture.
And I'm
Yeah.
just like,
Yeah.
Serious?
yeah, we talked about it quite a few times, and she said mentally, it's really, really
Hmm.
Wow.
a tough space to be mentally, and for young people. And again, I just feel like younger people, LinkedIn could even help them because you're making connections. Like I woke up this morning to people trying to connect with me in the tourism space in Palm Beach County, right? Legit writing to me saying, "Oh, I sent you an email," and I'm like, it's 3 a.m. when you sent this. Like, why are people awake sending? But again, these are people trying to connect with me because of my new post and so on. It's just a post that's helpful, and I
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
don't think Instagram is helpful. I'm so sorry we're cutting into your news, Lee. I'm
I was
sorry.
gonna say, I'm in my mind. I'm like, time.
Yeah,
Time.
yeah. Folks, we have Rajai Denbrook coming up. This is an important conversation because Raj actually majored in something where people would discourage young people from doing. So it's an interesting conversation coming up. We're going to get to Leanna and the news break. Do not go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Thanks, Jamal and Sherry, and good morning to all of those who are tuned in with us today. I hope you all are having a great start to your day. I'm Leanna Lambert, and it's time for the Daily Hour News Break brought to you by People's Pharmacy. In today's top stories, of the more than 5,000 latest test results, 9 new positive cases of COVID-19 have emerged, bringing the island's active cases to 25. Now, 2 people are currently in hospital, with 1 in the intensive care unit. The Bermuda's current positivity rate stands at 0.2%. The figures are from Thursday, Friday, and Saturday's test results. Meanwhile, did you ever imagine wave power could be the answer to meet all the island's electricity demand? Well, one company has come up with a potential scheme to do just that. Minister Walter Raban said that during a press conference that green energy company sea-based, has developed a move to waive a generation that could lead to cheaper bills for consumers. Now, the answer lies in developing a wave energy park pilot project off-island that will provide about 10% of Bermuda's energy needs. Now, if the company is considered for a license by the regulatory authority, the wave farm would put Bermuda ahead of the pack in the race for green energy, making Bermuda the first jurisdiction in this region, North America, South America, and the Caribbean, to have this technology deployed or have the opportunity to deploy it. The minister believes it will take about 18 months to put the technology in place. The end result, he says, help to lower the cost of energy in Bermuda. Calendars with a cause. What am I talking about? The fact that fuel firm Rubis managed to raise more than $35,000, which will be split between 9 charities from the sales from their annual calendar initiative. Now, according to sales manager Jermaine Simons, the donations for the 2021 calendar he hoped would provide assistance, especially after facing the difficulties brought on by the COVID-19 pandemic. Today, they gear up to launch their 2022 calendar, which will be available in all gas stations by Friday and will feature Bermuda's heroes of the pandemic. Now, he said that the organizations featured, which are selected by the various Rubis service station employees, would get to choose the charities who benefit. The 2022 calendar, which costs $5, will feature $48 in fuel savings that can be used throughout next year. And Bermudian swimmer Madeline Moore, who competes for the University of Northern Colorado, made an extremely impressive showing at a recent meet, claiming a number of wins and breaking 4 school records. According to the university's website, in the 100 freestyle, senior Madeline Moore took center stage, shattering another school record. Moore beat everyone to the wall with a 49.17, which was good enough for a second in the NCAA B cut and leaves with a strong chance of becoming Northern Colorado's first NCAA qualifier in program history. Taking a look at today's weather, we have a high near 75 and a low near 63 degrees. Strong southerly winds will strengthen further as a robust low pressure system moves in from the west. Now, occasional gale force wind may gust near storm force, especially at elevated or exposed locations, or within periods of showers that may be heavy at times, as well as any thunderstorms that might form. The front clears to the east tonight, and for the rest of the week, much colder temperatures and blustery showers are expected. That's all for today's Daily Hour news break brought to you by People's Pharmacy. But before we go, here's your little helpful daily tip from your favorite community pharmacist. We want to alert you of your pharmacist to any changes in your health conditions. Now, if you're pregnant, let them know and ask about taking any medications during pregnancy. Your People's Pharmacist can tell you what may be safe or unsafe to take. Now let's head back to Jamal and Sherry in the studio for today's Daily Focus.
All right. Thanks so much for that, Lee. Greatly appreciate it. Hey, Instagram.
We gotta do a one's gotta go. We
Well,
have to do a one's gotta go.
Really?
Yes.
So let's show these comments. So Sam Cat Play says, LinkedIn is getting there in Bermuda. Headhunters and industry information. It's a regular view for me daily. Carla John says, my old supervisor was constantly telling us to update our LinkedIn profiles. Best advice. And Kathy Brumby says, oh my God, don't look at my LinkedIn. I have no friends and I haven't looked at it since I set it up years ago. Kathy, send me a connection. I will make sure that we get you involved with some good information that you can stay up to date and read some things and just find out what your interests are. But Lee, I must say, you and Sherry, we have some questions on Bermuda Communications Group, and I see you guys participating every now and then. So just keep showing up, learning what you learn, stick in the industry.
I just need a tutorial, so we're gonna have to put me on that.
Don't worry, Sherry, I got you. I've had LinkedIn since university days, And I only recently updated it since then. And I was like, wow, this platform's actually like cooler than I thought.
I just want to know how to use it properly, like I'm been
Yeah.
on it. I just didn't want to know how to use it properly.
You know, Sherry, and I'm gonna tell you,
Oh,
YouTube
Lord.
will be your second best friend as far as social media and the internet.
Yes.
Trust
No, I love YouTube. Yeah.
Lee, thanks so much. We'll see you tomorrow.
See you guys tomorrow.
Alrighty, folks. Get your LinkedIn pages updated. Do that. I know I see Michelle White on there sharing good stuff all the time. She says LinkedIn is a great platform for networking. We're going to take a quick break, folks. We'll be back with Raj. I hope Raj has LinkedIn. Rajai Denbrook, if you don't have LinkedIn, boy, I'm going to give it to you after this break. We'll be right back.
This month, we're bringing back an old favorite distributed by John Barrett & Son Limited, a thirst-quenching European treat, Orangina, made from orange, lemon, mandarin, and grapefruit juices. Orangina brings us the flavor of the Mediterranean in a distinctive pear-shaped bottle. Orangina originated in France in the early 1930s and is now one of the world's favorites, a natural thirst quencher containing real fruit pulp. In fact, the makers of Orangina recommend we gently shake the pulp to enjoy the full fruity flavor. Lindo's, why go anyplace else?
Mom's celebrating her 70th birthday next month. Have you noticed her age is catching up with her?
Yeah. Plus, she's having a hard time getting up and around like she's used to. I would sure hate to see her fall.
At Medical House Limited, we can help make life situations easier. We have electric beds, motorized scooters, bath stools, walkers, you name it.
Mom's been real good to us. We'll get her birthday and Christmas gifts from Medical House.
Medical House has relocated next to the Dandytown Field. Number 6 Bakery Lane, Pembroke. Telephone 292-3622.
All right, welcome back to the big show. She's Sherry Vanderpool. I'm Jamel Hartman. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by Medical House, One Communications, Lindo's, and People's Pharmacy. We have Rajai Denbrook, my good friend Raj. Raj spent a lot of time at Hot 107.5 with myself and others. Let's welcome him into the studio. Raj, good morning. Welcome, my brother.
Good morning. It's good to see you.
Good morning.
Morning, Sherry. How are you?
He likes to tell
I'm
lies.
doing well.
It ain't good to see me, Sherry.
He
Look,
doesn't like to tell lies.
Raj has some
barbershop.
That's what I'm talking about. This is my boy. So folks, if you don't know what it's talking about, that's exactly what I was going to bring up. Raj still hasn't forgiven Tay and Jay's barbershop. Tayo and I, one day we cut his hair on air, and we did pretty well, in my opinion. We even gave him a design, like a J and a T in his hair.
They're talking buzz cut.
We hooked him up.
Hey, it was a good day.
We'll share online. I'll share on Daily Hour social media. J&T's, the results of J&T's barbershop. We retired after that one cut because too many people were lining up trying to get cuts. But Raj,
police.
Raj, man, I'm so proud of you, man. You are a person who is doing what they wanted to do and expressing themselves how they want to express themselves. And you've always been, strong-headed in that way to want to achieve what you want to achieve in the way that you wanted to achieve it. But before we get into you, just give us a background. What's the Bermuda Festival of Performing Arts?
Yeah, so the Bermuda Festival of Performing Arts is one of a major international performing arts festival. It was founded in the 70s by Lord Manuin. He's a world-class violinist, and it's been around since the 70s. And it's international standard. It attracts some of the best international talent around. So I say around the world is redundant, right? And this year, obviously, because of the pandemic, they had to pivot like everybody else, and they pivoted to a virtual delivery this year. And the team over at the festival, so actually only 2 people, but they're so good at what they do, and they pivoted to a virtual delivery extremely well. So this year, I think there's been about 10 or 11 different shows, and the artists have to pre-record their shows, and then the festival would stream them. And so next week, Saturday, is Soothing the Soul, and it's the final show of the festival. And I have the absolute privilege of being one of the featured artists in that show. And I'll be performing a short classical voice recital. And the last thing I'll say about the festival is that they've had 11,000 views of the stream. So for a very quick pivot, they've done a really, really good job.
Nice. And you mentioned next week Saturday on the 4th you'll be performing as part of the Soothing for the Soul. How'd that come about? Like, how did Rajai Denbrook end up getting into this space to do this?
I know, right? I'm sorry. I'm gonna just darn. I'm stuck in the throat like I stuck in the feet. I'm sorry. I'm trying to be proper. I'm not good at being proper. I'm on key.
Do you, Raj? Do you?
So as you know, I got my degree in drama, applied theater, and education. So performance is something that's always been a part of my life. I mean, the first time I hopped on a stage, I was 7, and it was the road shows. Everybody remembers the road shows with Pat Pugson and her team. And I caught the bug, and the bug's been with me ever since. The last shows, the theatrical productions I was in, that would have been The Color Purple and Beauty and the Beast with Troika. And in The Color Purple, I played Harpo, and in Beauty and the Beast, I played Cogsworth. And it was and the thing I love about Troika is that they operate with this absolutely wonderful standard, and they're very uncompromising about it. And so it's one of those rare opportunities to do something of an international standard in Bermuda. And whenever I do anything theatrical, where I want to exercise my talents, I only work with Troika because I'm an elitist, and that's just how it is. And,
I know that's right.
So in terms of the festival, for the festivals, that's not theatrical. It's actually a classical voice recital, and so it's just singing. It's just music. And so I started I started my classical voice training when it was 18, and that just came about because before that I was just doing musical theater and like a bit of contemporary stuff, and when I was 18, my voice just went and dropped out of nowhere.
So, yeah, I remember.
Like, oh my goodness, but there's going to be puberty. Yay.
Well, Rajai, you hijacked my question, which was how did you get into singing and classical singing at that? No, that's fine. How is it to be or transition into that type of realm of classical singing? Because I automatically think, of course, R&B singer or whatever, and thinking that I had a little bit of that something too. But classical is excuse me, you don't know who Harpo is. Stay over there.
I don't.
So nevertheless, it's a whole different type of it's a whole different training. Tell us about that.
I love classical voice. I prefer it. So that my voice dropped, and so the R&B tenor stuff that wasn't working anymore, and so I have this really beat up baritone, and it's all down there now. And I was just playing around one day, and I went, "Oh, wait a second, I might be able to actually do this." So I went to the only person in this country I would allow anywhere near my voice, Griselda Severin. She is an incredible woman, an incredible educator. She's currently the interim director of the National Educators Institute, an incredible woman. And I started my training, and I was good at it. And but again, especially as a Black male, you don't really see us doing, offering classical voice, right? So
exactly.
It's not very, right. So it's not very popular here, so I don't get to do it very much. So the call out went for the festival saying, "Hey, we're just looking for artists." We submitted a video, and I got in. So I feel really privileged, and I'm really happy that I get to actually use that aspect of my talent and my training.
Yeah.
What can people expect from Soothing the Soul? It sounds very tranquil and all of those kind of things. What can we expect to hear from that?
Black excellence.
Yes, Rajai.
Yeah, no, excellent standards. People can expect to be impressed. They can expect it to be worth their time, and it's wonderful because it's free. You can watch all it. I mean, usually a ticket to the festival is at least $50. But all of this incredible programming is being made available for free to everybody, and it is, their virtual pivot hasn't diminished, their commitment to standards. So people can expect to be impressed.
Good. Now, how can we view it and support? Because what we need to, what we were talking about earlier is making careers available. How can people view and support it and understand that there's another career out there that can be available to them as well?
If all the streams are up on bermudafestival.org. That's all one word, bermudafestival.org. And as soon as you go on down, you can see all the streams there. And it'll be live next week at 8 p.m. Bermuda time.
Okay. Raj, I want to take it back to what we were discussing before you came on. So Sherry mentioned her first major fashion merchandising, and people were like, oh, what, you going to work at Trimmingham's? So many talented young people in Bermuda are discouraged from pursuing the arts, for instance. You know this. We know this. Because there seems to be a lack of opportunities in Bermuda. That's at least what they tell us, right? I'm a believer, if there's a lack of opportunity, we then create it, right? What advice do you have for younger people who want to go this route and express themselves in the arts, who may be getting discouraged in other ways?
If you really feel a call to be an artist, honestly, it's a call. It's something that you have on your heart that you can never get away from. And so it's a lifestyle. It's something that you're really called to do. So if that's what you want to do and you want to follow it, you really have to sit with yourself. And if the answer is yes, and it's on your heart, then that's the first thing. You can't ignore it. I've tried to ignore it many times. You can. It'll itch at you. It'll get at you. But obviously, because we live in we live in a world that's driven by money. You have to make money, right? And so the practicalities of being an artist are difficult, especially in Bermuda. And that's just the fact of the matter. But I will say to any young person who is passionate about the arts and who has talent and who wants to do it, do it. Be your best at it. Do it every single day. Master your craft. That's the absolute thing. Be passionate about your craft. Master your craft. Do not. And because we do something in Bermuda, and it's really unfortunate, where we get comfortable. And a lot of people surround themselves with people who want to tell them what they want to hear, and they're not honest with them. And I encountered that a lot when I was actually working at the station, Jamel, when Teo was program director, and people would bring their music for him to listen to it. Right. And Teo would play the track, and I wasn't like, I'm not programming director, and I didn't really know like hip hop and whatnot. But I'm listening to these things. I'm like, number one, the production quality is horrible, and number two, your craft, like you haven't mastered your craft. But there would be this expectation for it to be played, and it's like, yo, son, that's not how it works.
Well, Raj, is interesting because I've spoken about this on numerous occasions on this show. Legit that example. So folks, I'm not lying now that Rajai has said this, right? There were people, no, sir, because this is serious, because there's a standard in Bermuda that, in all honesty, the bar needs to be raised. Just because you make a song and you've been making songs for years doesn't mean any of your songs are good quality. Just because you have this name in the Bermudian community that you're this music artist and you take it to a radio station. See, one of the things that I want Bermudians to understand, and this is going to be harsh, and folks, if you have any questions or comments for Rajai, please shoot them and we'll ask. But when you go to a radio station, if I'm from Brooklyn and I go to a New York radio station, right, for my music to be played, they're not playing my music just because I'm from New York, So we need to get rid of this idea that, we need to play the music just because they're Bermudian. That's the issue, because what we're doing is we're setting mediocrity, right? We're setting a mediocre standard because we're saying, it doesn't matter the quality of the song. It doesn't matter the quality of the production. You're Bermudian, so we're going to play your music. That's not how this works. And if we're trying to get to another space, we need to look beyond our environment, that space of comfort, and say, you know what? They do this well. How can we implement that so that we can be, get the same level of respect for audience engagement that they do? So
Yeah.
thank you for that, Raj. Go ahead,
Yeah.
Shay.
You're welcome.
I know. I was going to say, I had the same issue at Vibe. I remember looking down, hearing something. I'm like, what is that? And people really just having this, what you said, this sense of entitlement. So hats off to you, Rajay, for honing in on your craft and mastering it. I remember there was a movie probably before Jamal's time, called
Yeah.
The Field of Dreams, and it says, build it and they will come. If you build up on your craft and you master it, it will come. They will come. All of this kind of thing. So, I love that you're putting that out there to youth, and the young people, that classical music is a way as well.
Mhm. Well, I think I want to say this: the right people will come, and I think
Mm-hmm.
before you finish up, Raj, is classical music's not for everyone, nor is R&B, nor is hip hop, nor is reggae, nor is soca.
Mm-hmm.
But it's about knowing that audience that you're targeting. You can't please everybody. Master your craft, as Sherry said, for the people that you're targeting. Raj,
Mm-hmm.
anything you want to say before you head out?
Yeah, no, I mean, like I said, if somebody has it on their heart and they feel that calling to do something, do it. But make sure, and I mean, for my degree, right? So my degree is actually in drama, applied theater, and education. So it was theater with like a sociology education bent with like lots of academics rolled into it as well. So when you were talking about education earlier, something I'm passionate about, the theory and practice pedagogy, instructional methods, research, like I absolutely love education.
Mhm.
But I just say that to say, because this is connected to that. If you feel something, hopefully you're in an environment where when you feel passionate about something, you're able to explore that passion through its expression. And through its expression, you get that mastery, right? But if you feel it, master it. Have a standard for yourself. Understand your craft, master your craft. Get out of Bermuda. You're gonna have to get out this island. And yeah, and just allow the world to be your oyster. Don't let your ego get caught up. And all ego does is diminish your craft. Get rid of your ego. We don't have time for that. And that's my mesh up of an ending.
Raj, hold on. You can't end on that note. We have a request. Sam Cat Place says, sing a note, Raj. Show 'em what you got.
Show 'em what you got. In dreams unhappy, I behold you stand as heretofore. Oh yeah, no, not that one. No, I have a better one. I don't want to do that one. I don't do that one. And this one's going to be short because I said, would that I were a garment, a shimmering silken garment, that all my faults might wrap about thy body, absorb thy body, hold and hide thy body, thou dark one.
Rajai Denbrook, everybody. Rajai Denbrook giving the audience chills. Raj, honestly, bro, we're so proud of you. I do have an issue. You don't answer our texts when we send them to you because we always try to reach out to him. Folks, Raj doesn't answer our
shady.
Look, you all know I bring things to the forefront. I bring our business to the public.
Show the receipts.
Nah, man, honestly. I'll show them on camera. We'll show them. Don't worry. But mom's in the audience giving her claps. Love your mom. She is a big supporter. The audience loves you. But Raj, honestly, on behalf of everyone, thank you for doing what you love to do. You are an example, whether you know it or not. We are here to support you in whatever way we can. You know that we've got your back. Your Earl Radio family, we've got you. And so we want to encourage people on December 4th. Make sure you go on, you stream it. Raj, make sure you get that information to us so that next week we can include it in our news break with Leanna so that she can ensure that people do not forget. And we wish you the best with not only this event, but everything that you put your hands into. All right?
Thank you.
All
Bye,
right, talk to you,
Raj.
Raj.
Thank you.
Rajai Denbrook, folks, my good buddy, boy. Raj, I remember his voice didn't know where it sound like that deep now. Like, it's going deeper than me. Didn't know it sound like that. Shit, boy. But hey, Raj is a good person. That's a good person.
Awesome.
He is a good person. So do not go anywhere. Thanks again. If you appreciated that conversation with Rajai, give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. Make sure you share this kind of conversation, and also make sure you support. We're going to have the daily play, folks. You don't want to miss this one. Stick with us. Stick with us.
A lot happens around your home. That is why at One Communications, we have introduced affordable security and video monitoring, because everyone should be able to afford to protect their family. Anytime, from anywhere, One Home Security keeps you connected and puts security in your hands with an easy-to-use smartphone app to control everything. Home security is important to keep you and your family safe. Motion-activated cameras around your home and security monitoring within create a complete security system providing protection both inside and outside your home. Professional monitoring means that there's someone on call with 24/7 protection to notify the authorities and help keep you and your loved ones safe. We are dedicated to whole home protection with indoor and outdoor cameras, smart door locks, motion sensors, and more, so you'll always be connected to what matters most. With professional installation, no upfront hardware fees, and low monthly rates, because keeping your family safe should be affordable for everyone. Total home video monitoring and security, there's no better way to protect your home than with One Home Security.
Why did you feel the need to go public with this? Let's go there first.
It originally started out of frustration.
Are you a part of the PTA or PTSA? Because there were people that, when we discussed this on the Daily Hour, said, well, this would be something that parents or guardians would be involved with the PTA to ensure that this doesn't happen, or if it does, they're part of the conversation and so on.
You know, the whole thing about my son's grades is neither here nor there. If they really want to go there, my son was on the honor roll and the principal's list until we came back to Bermuda. And then we started to experience issues with education, and a lot of them were petty issues. The minister actually had made a very blanket statement. I have nothing against rules. I am not telling my son that rules are a bad thing and we're going to break all the rules.
All right, folks, that is an exclusive with Alyssa Hayward, mother who had an issue with Whitney Institute where her son attended about his hair. You can watch that conversation on Thursday morning, same time that the Daily Hour usually airs, as there's no live show. Thanks again to Rajai Denbrook. Folks, please ensure that you go to Bermuda Festival and support what he and others are doing, Soothing the Soul. I am going to do my best to support and check it out. And also, thanks again to People's Pharmacy, Medicals, Lindos, and One Communications for ensuring that we're able to do this with you on a daily basis. Let's go to the Daily Play. Time for the Daily Play. Brought to you by Heineken 0.0. Great taste, no alcohol. Sherry, I know you're ready, right?
Yeah, sure, Jamal. Sure.
All right. So I'm going to give you the year. I'm going to give you all the year. It's a remember when. In January of 1946, the then Kinley Field Airport in Bermuda was built by who?
The U.S. Naval Air Base. Was I close?
We're going to give it to her, folks. We're going to give it to her. 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 So actually, the answer is in January 1946, the then Kinley Field Airport in Bermuda was built by the U.S. military during World War II. We're going to give it a point, though, because Terry and Jackie were throwing some shade at me this morning. They think I didn't hear them on Good Day Bermuda talking about we're not going to be like Jamal in the Daily Hour who doesn't give half points and all that. But I got that shade. I was
like, shady. I didn't watch the whole show, but I caught that last little bit. And I was like, oh.
Of course you catch that. So we gave her full points just for your information, Terry. All right. Sherry gets full points. So it is Bermuda's airport was originally built by the U.S. military after World War II. All right. So that's your answer for today. Sherry, any thoughts on today's episode?
Loved it. Loved it. Encourage and inspire and motivate your kids to do what they are passionate about. Don't look at it as or turn up your nose to what they may love. Help them with it. Help them to hone in on that passion or something else. And Rajai, was a pleasure. It was a pleasure to see someone doing something that they are passionate about, even if it is not considered, the norm of that nature, which makes it even better. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Terry says, y'all always hear the shade. Yeah, we heard it. We heard it. Nicole Walker
Whatever.
says, yes, come on, Sherry, be more confident and act like you're right, even when you're wrong. Hey, there you go.
You
That's
saw
right.
that the U.S.
I'm with
government?
you. Yeah, I'm with you on that. Even when you're wrong. But anyway, no, thank you again to Rajai. Great conversation. And I think today's conversation tied right into what he's doing. Raj always knew what he wanted to do. And I'm glad that he's found a way to do it and continues to do it. We have to allow children, young people, to express themselves in a manner that's going to be beneficial for them long term. We cannot limit them to Bermuda. Something he said, get out of Bermuda.
Yes.
I want to say this, and I hope this doesn't offend, but I hope it inspires. Being on the internet and social media is not growing beyond your environment, is not getting outside of Bermuda. Being in another culture and living in that space, that's growing beyond your environment. That's getting outside of Bermuda. Even getting outside of Bermuda and being around all Bermudians. That's not it, folks. Let's allow yourself to grow. Sherry, you got some daily inspiration for us?
I have. Be so happy that when other people look at you, they become happy too.
I love that one. That is a good one. Folks, thanks
Get
again to our
happy.
partners, Medical House, One Communications, Lindos, and People's Pharmacy for ensuring that we're able to do this with you on a daily basis. As always, we appreciate you, we love you, and we thank you for making us part of your daily routine. If all goes well, we'll be back to do this one more time this week. That'll be tomorrow. She's Sherry Vanderpool. I'm Jamel Hartman. My friends, I saw her shade just now, but I'm going to ignore it. Make it a great day, loser.